Hello, everyone. This is Sankalp,
And this is Gaurang.
and you're listening to our podcast, The Unwritten Case. Welcome back, folks, to The Unwritten Case. We are here for our episode 7, and with us, we have Emilie Umuhire with us. Thank you so much for being here, Emilie.
Of course, I'm so happy to be here.
Let me start with, I think we all know how busy our lives in HBS is. So many coffee chats. I'm sure the cases have again picked up,
Yes.
and we are back to our thankfully 2 cases. I hope
Yes.
not 3, no 3 case days for you.
So,
Great.
yeah.
But what's been keeping you grounded these days, despite all this HBS routines that we go through?
Grounded. That's a really good question. I have been spending a lot of time trying to learn how to do weightlifting.
Wow.
So I'm spending a lot of time in the gym. That's like watching YouTube videos and trying to do the same things. I usually run, but I feel like this winter has just been like so brutal for me to be outside. So I needed another healthy way of like, I don't know,
Yeah.
spending my time, and weightlifting has been the avenue.
Wow.
How's that journey been? Have you
Tough.
went up the weight class?
I gained weight. So
That was not the weight I was asking. I thought you would say that you increased the weights that you use while lifting.
So yes, that like I'm becoming stronger. So I'm now like going up in like the weights I'm using, but I'm also gaining weight.
Oh,
So I put away my scale.
it's good. It's good weight then. It's muscle weight.
Hopefully.
That's good. Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And in terms of, I think the classes,
Mhm.
what has surprised you the most?
I think like this being the last semester, I came in with like a little bit like more pressure in terms of like what I wanted to spend my time on academically. Um, and I don't know like how you guys feel, but I feel like the selection this semester wasn't as
Yeah.
exciting as last semester.
I agree.
So I think like I came up with like a new strategy where I'm picking classes where I'm either learning new stuff or I'm just like really excited by either the people in the classes, the professor, or like the cases. So like my classes are not like I'm not in like any of the big LTVS, whatever, like all of
Strategy and tech.
yeah, I'm not in any of those classes, but I'm in classes where like I think I'm like again like learning the most or just like having a good time. One of my favorite classes is a PE projects class,
Yeah.
which like I don't have plans to go into PE, but I'm learning a ton.
How much modeling's involved?
No modeling.
Damn.
So far.
Okay.
So I was lucky I got an
What PE class is this?
It's PE
Is it
project.
physical education or private?
No.
private equity.
Okay.
Private equity.
Oh,
Like, I think modeling is gonna come. But we just like we're working on like real projects. Like there are no cases. Every class you just have
They're real
guests.
projects.
Yeah, guests who are working
Very
in
cool.
the PE space. They tell you how it is. So it's been like really eye opening. And then I'm taking like classes that are really fun, like negotiations.
Oh, which
Just
one?
I'm in the negotiations on the X schedule
Okay.
at 10:10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 10:10.
Then we're in the same one.
Are you with
Fonzie?
Fonzie?
Yeah.
Wait, what? That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that class.
So you said no plans for, PE,
Mhm.
but like what plans do you have? Do you want to go do you want to go a job route or like or a startup route?
I think as most of us, I'm really confused at this stage. I do have an offer to return to the company I was working with in the summer. But I'm also like going through this period of like questioning whether that's the right choice. So last November, I started working on my own idea.
Okay, nice.
So I have a co-founder. We're trying to see if we can like get something feasible before I graduate, and then like I'll probably do that if it works out. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna go back to the same company I was interning at over the summer.
Nice. Do you feel excited about this startup that you're working on?
Super excited. It's challenging. It's a lot of work than I expected, but it's been fun. I'm working with a friend. I was like, before I started, like, I was like, I really want, like, should I follow an idea or should I follow a person? And I decided to follow a person, like, first determine the person I want to work with before I decide on the idea itself.
Oh,
Because, like,
interesting.
this is someone that I've had, like, really good rapport with. We share the same values, like, the same view of the future. We ended up actually like deciding on like the same idea I would have chosen by myself. And so working with her has been like really fun. We got some traction. We got into the semifinals for the HBS New Venture competition.
Congratulations.
Very cool.
We
So
didn't make it
nice.
to the finals, but we made it
Well,
to the semifinals.
finals was great.
Semifinals. It's more than what Sunkel got into. Right?
Exactly. Which is not even to the first round. Because I didn't apply, but sure.
So that was confirmation that at least like the idea itself is cool enough for people to want to hear more. So now we're just like trying to refine the business model, like really think beyond, like because it's within the social impact space, think beyond the impact and like really start thinking about sustainability from the beginning. And that's why it becomes challenging because like balancing impact and like financial sustainability is just like a really tough line to walk.
You're talking impact, sustainability. So I sense your startups in that space.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull a Reza. Let's hear your elevator pitch. 30 seconds.
Wow. Okay. 30 seconds. Let me go. So think about like software as a service, right? Like this is a word that has been thrown around so many times. But what if you can replace the software and with a service that you want to offer? So I'm thinking career centers as a service for universities back home that usually don't have career centers, or when they have career centers, they have no resources. The idea behind this is we want to equip students with not just like certificates and degrees that are now going to make them employable. We want to help them develop the skills that are employer approved. So like what are employers like looking for when they're thinking about who they want to hire? We want to connect them with employers when they're still in colleges and universities so that they can start accumulating not only the experiences they need to put on their resume for when they need to apply, but also like build the networks they need for them to be able to get the jobs when they graduate. So we're combining like sort of like how do we connect universities, the employers, and the students so that they can start talking, because like right now, at least like back home, like they're not talking.
No conversation between the universities and the high schools.
Exactly. University. So we're focusing on university students.
I see. Okay.
So that's the space that I'm currently serving in.
Oh,
Very cool.
Yeah.
and you feel that that there's this layer of financial empowerment here as well, because through that you are able to provide better career opportunities to the students in universities who might otherwise uh, not have access to such networks, and through basically software and career centers that can kind of provide that kind of a connection to universities with the employers there.
Absolutely. That's the plan. Because I think back home, and you can help me because you've lived in Kenya at least, and it's very similar. For you to get a job, you have to know someone. It doesn't matter how smart you are. You might have been the most, I don't know, like decorated student of your university, but it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a job. And so how can we democratize that access? How can we make like access to employment like really like feasible
Meritocratic rather
than like rather than like I know this is like my uncle, my auntie called someone.
than.
Like I want to be the auntie calling on
That's
behalf
really
of all of
cool.
the
Yeah.
students who don't have those connections.
How many like top universities would be there that you'll be
So in
potentially?
Rwanda alone, because like right now I'm focused on Rwanda because there's another layer of I guess like challenges that are making this connection not happen,
Okay.
which I'm happy to get into. It's around like English fluency.
Okay.
But right now, like in Rwanda, they have 32 universities, and only 4 have career centers. So students who are going to public universities, they graduate without seeing a career service professional, or like they don't know how to write their resumes, they don't know how to interview, they don't even know which opportunities, like where do you get a job, like they don't know that job boards exist and you can go on a job board and like start applying. And so for those universities that currently don't have career centers, which will be like around 28,
Yeah.
and each one have like around like 5,000 students.
Yeah.
Like that's the market that we're currently targeting.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's that going so far since November?
It's been fun. It's been like really fun. I going in, I was like, oh, there's so many challenges. I had a whole list of risks. And then like my co-founder, which like again I mentioned, like there's so many ways to start a business, but thinking about the person you want to like to run the business with, I think is really important. So she's like very execution like ready. Like her head is like, okay, we're going to make this thing happen. I hear you. You have this long list, but we're going to make this thing happen. And so through working with her, we've been able to get a letter of intent with one of the biggest employers in sub-Saharan Africa. They're the second employer in Rwanda after the government. We've already gotten an MOU with one of the public universities in the northern part of Rwanda. This university has around like 6,000 students, and we already have 110 students who signed up, also showing interest in our program, even though we haven't even like run a pilot yet. We haven't launched. And the feedback that I got from the NVC judges was like, we need like sort of like really refine our business model to maybe like find, because like the appetite is there, right?
Yeah.
But like who funds it? Like who pays?
Where's the money?
Where's the money going to come from? And like
Right.
that's what we are currently
I
trying.
think customers are pretty clear, right? Like, but then
Customer generally who pays for it?
Yeah, so the payer.
Yeah.
Like the payer is like
Yeah.
what we are trying to find out.
Mhm.
Initially, I wanted everyone to contribute because I don't believe in handouts. I want the students to also see this as an investment that they're putting in their careers, and so
Yeah.
putting
Mm.
in like, even if it's like $5, then like you're going to be committed to seeing the return on your $5.
Right. Right.
So I wanted to see if the students can contribute, the schools can contribute, and then like the employers can contribute because they're getting talent. But I'm still figuring out like who actually has the willingness to pay.
I think this is brilliant. I mean, earlier this morning, I was actually having a conversation with a section mate about the challenges in Africa with, like, okay, you're talking about the university to employment, and I was further upstream. I was talking like from high school to even university, right? Like, what kind of access is there for students to even understand what kind of opportunities lie? So even before they go to that employment level, they even understand what they're getting into in the first place, because there's not enough understanding of, like, what kind of degrees can I even get, and where will that land me 4 years after I start my undergrad degree?
Yeah.
So, like, to me, that hits home because I went through a lot of challenges, in a similar manner, where I didn't know a lot about engineering degrees or computer science or, like, different fields that I get into. But the one thing that was hammered into our head was, you're good at physics, you're good at math, go be an engineer.
That was me.
That's same in India.
That's
Yeah.
I thought that's only in India.
Yeah. But I,
But did you study civil engineering then?
no, not at all.
Engineering.
I'm so glad I did not. I did manufacturing and robotics, which is still niche because
Right.
the typical is like mechanical engineering,
Yeah.
right? Manufacturing was still my way of like kind of being rebellious from home. Like, no, I'm gonna do engineering, but I'll be a bit different.
I'll do the cool one.
I'll do the cool one. Why, like, that is so close to my heart. So I'm guessing you've had some sort of a history that has led you to working on this startup,
Yeah.
right? And it's admirable that you're trying to make an impact and drive an impact for Rwanda. I hope it comes to Kenya, by the way. Fingers crossed.
I hope so.
But
Yeah.
maybe let's dive deeper and like go slightly back into the history, learn more about your childhood, about your youth, and what has driven you to start up today
Yeah.
for Rwanda.
Like, thank you so much for sharing. So I share the same story, but like maybe like taking it even like back before high school. I didn't grow up in like a wealthy family. So I grew up like I didn't have the uncle who would have called someone for me to get into school. So I remember like really from a young age, like maybe I was like 5 or 6, my mom was like, we create our own opportunities. Like, I want you to put that in your head. Everything we will get, we have to create ourselves. And so I grew up like knowing that like whoever I become is gonna like really come from me. She did invest in our education. That was like a non-negotiable. We had tutors. Like we could eat beans and rice for like a month as long as like tutors have been paid. So education was a non-negotiable. Um, and like I'm talking about my mom alone because like it was a single parent household.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the genocide, like our family was separated, so we grew up
Oh wow.
with just my mom. And at that time, so I was born, I want to say my age, but I was born around when like the genocide happened in Rwanda. I was actually born as it was ending. Um, at that time, like Rwanda was actually like I don't even know how we go through what we went through. And like right now we are a resilient country, obviously. But I remember going to school, you would like you were told like don't play with like random objects you see on the street because like maybe a grenade.
Oh my.
Wow.
So like very vigilant, like single focus, like you leave school, you walk home, you work on your homework, you go to bed. Like there isn't like a lot of dreaming that was, I guess, like happening at that time. Anyways, fast forward to when it was time for us to choose high schools. I don't know if it's similar in Kenya, but you do a national exam after primary school, and then like your results will determine where you end up in high school. And so like my mom again, like she told me you make your own like luck, you work hard, and like you create your own opportunities. So I was like, okay, I got you on like my grades are going to be good, like I'm gonna put in the work as well. But then she decided on where I needed to go. She's the one who filled out my form. She decided what I needed to study. Like I was not consulted. Luckily she chose well. I ended up in one of the top high schools in the country for girls. It was a Catholic high school. I cannot go into the politics of that. It was very traumatic. It was like a military school, but like really good education. Like you're exposed to the best girl students in the country at that point. And very quickly, I realized that a lot of students who got into that school were coming from like families with means, right? Like I was an anomaly. Me getting in from like the family and the upbringing that I had, that was not really normal. Like for us, it was so expensive. For others, this was like the cheapest option, and they came because it was a really good school. They could have gone into international schools. But for me, like I saw this as like my way out of the situation that was at home. And one thing that it did so well for me is like to expose me to like bigger dreams, because like if you've grown up into this like very small world where there isn't dreaming that is happening around you, you're really afraid of like kicking a ball on the street because you think it's going to be a grenade. Like there isn't a lot of dreaming that is happening. And so as I was going through that high school, that's when the idea of coming to America started like materializing in my head. Because like these kids again, they had the means to dream about coming to. They had uncles and aunties and cousins who were studying in America, and I was like, maybe it would be nice to go to America. And I remember going back home, and my mom was like, okay, like you're struggling to pay a school in Rwanda, and like for you, you're dreaming about America. Like, what is going on? But I knew I had gotten in this school because of like hard work and like just like sheer determination. So I was like, yeah, maybe like the parents are gonna pay, but I think I can get in just like because I'm like a really good student. So I was so committed throughout high school. Like was working like really hard, learning everything that I needed to learn for me to um, go to America. And the reason why I could have that dream is because Rwanda has this program where if you are a top performer in your district, then you're chosen as a group of like the top performers in the countries, and then you get sent to universities in America. So I was like, I knew it could happen. I just like need to put in the work. Um, and at that time, I was also like I was learning everything in French. So our system at the time was in French. People like will actually like look at me like, why not France? Like, why are you thinking America when you don't speak English? I was like very delusional. And I was like, yeah.
That's need to be delusional.
Yeah, I was like very delusional. But yeah, after I finished high school, I was like a top performer. So that the program did call me. But then when I was sitting down with them, in my interview, I could not speak English. And they were like, yeah, we love your profile. They had like a translator in the room because I could not speak English. So this is like at 18, right? And then they were like, we love you. We think like you're really smart. I had done like my TOEFL and I had done really well. Like my written was really good because I've been like reading books ever since I was really young.
Yeah.
Um, so they were like, but you cannot speak English. So I don't know if you're going to survive in America. And then I was like, what is it gonna take? Like, just tell me. Like everywhere I've been able to get, I've gotten there. So like tell me, what is it gonna take for me to qualify for this program? So the program, they said like, yeah, you can come and like you have to learn English for a year. So I took a gap year and I learned English for a year. I did my SATs, I did my TOEFLs, and then I got into Northwestern University for my undergrad.
Wow.
Going to study civil engineering.
Ah.
I
Guys, can I go back and take out that I said thank God I'm not doing civil? She tricked me. She didn't tell me.
because I was also good at physics and math. My mom was like, yeah, you have to study civil engineering.
Oh boy.
Decision for me.
Don't I look like an
Whatever, yeah, you do.
Decision for me. But when I got to Northwestern, I also realized civil engineering was not cool.
Okay.
So I did change my major to psychology, which was like a whole 180.
Wow.
And to convince my parents that it was okay, that I was still smart, I was doing pre-med.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my story. And after that, so after uni, actually, like, the second I stepped foot at the Northwestern campus, my life changed. Like the level of access I had was incredible. I could email the president office and like someone would attend to me.
Hmm.
I was my all of my internships, like my first internship as a freshman was in the Ministry of Health,
Wow.
working directly with the Minister of Health. And like that level of access would not have been possible if I didn't
Sorry, is this the Ministry of Health in the US or in Rwanda?
in
Okay.
Rwanda.
Hmm.
Like so like the access now I'm getting, my background, but it doesn't translate to my sister who continued to study in Rwanda. And so that's when I started realizing that like there are keys to who get access to things, right? Like some people are born into wealth and they have those networks and they have that access.
Mhm.
But there are also like skills or brands that help you get that access as well. So like I became like really passionate in understanding who gets opportunities, who doesn't get opportunity, and how do I bridge that gap.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this. I mean, that's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm at a loss of words. This is, your story kind of reminded me of that metaphor that we keep listening around. Like, why is a bamboo plant unique? Bamboo is unique because, like when
I've never heard this. No.
bamboo takes, so since bamboo is kind of like seeded,
Mhm.
like or planted, for 10 years, it doesn't grow.
Right.
But like suddenly, within months,
Mm-hmm.
it shoots at like an accelerated rate and like it grows very tall. And just like the way, like when I was hearing your story from like the early childhood, which was just like just very focused towards like just surviving and just like not really focused on thriving.
Mm-hmm.
And then comes an opportunity to join this high school. But
Mm-hmm.
suddenly there's like a plethora of opportunities that you see and gives you the right environment to then really suddenly shoot. And then that's when I started thinking about other opportunities outside Rwanda. You started dreaming higher, you started dreaming bigger. This like taking a 1 year drop to just like learn English to come, that's like my God, like I don't know if I would have had that courage. And so the question that's essentially come to my mind is you kind of lived in two realities.
Yes.
Like every time you went back home, you
Yes.
saw a very different reality.
Yeah.
Every time you went back to high school, it was very different reality.
Mm-hmm.
From where did you get that self conviction? Because it's like sometimes we can get into self doubt
Mm-hmm.
because you kind of start like, do I mean, there's one thing about of belonging there. You kind of earned your way to be there, but it's like, do I really belong in the kind of dreams that the people have here? Like, because every time you go back home, it's like from very different setting, right? Like,
Yeah.
so where did that conviction come that no, I can really bridge that path to the kind of dreams that my peers have with memes? Uh,
Yeah.
how did you find that?
That's a really good question. Again, like delusion.
No, true. Yeah, I mean, we can describe it as delusion.
What's the new Gen Z saying? Delulu is the
Delulu is the
Delulu is the Solulu. I invented that. No, like truly, I was a very delusional kid. I I was really smart. Like I remember, like my grades were like always unheard of. Like like she has like 99.9% on her report card. And like my professors would like obviously like I think this is like probably like very similar to everyone who goes to Harvard. I'm not trying to sound special. So I knew I earned my spot there. And obviously like thriving academically in that environment despite like whatever is happening at home, because like I have a mental load that I'm carrying that not everyone is carrying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So being able to succeed despite all of those challenges, like just like reminded me like, hey, your mom told you like we make our own luck, right? So like what makes your dream smaller? Like if you have the capacity to make your own luck, why don't you make your luck as big as possible? And so that's how I approach, like, I mean, that's also how I still approach my life here at HBS. That's how I approach like a lot of like my friendships, the things I've done. It's like I have the capacity to make my luck, and I'm now going to limit how big that luck is going to look like.
I really want to frame this quote as such a beautiful line. Like, if I have the capacity to make my luck, why can't I make it as big as possible? Wow.
I just blanked what I was going to ask.
I mean, see, I'm saying that we are truly in loss of words.
Yeah.
Like, this is
No, I was just thinking about
this
this
is-
quote, and it's beautiful.
it's really good.
So I've been reading this book recently. It's called Blind Spotting. In that it talks about a lot of different angles and lenses of like how you approach life as a leader, how you approach leadership in general. But I think a lot of the learnings in that book also refer to just how you approach your day to day as well. One of the things it talks about is how identity can play a part in your blind spot, like the blind spots that you have. So each of us have blind spots, right? It could be something that you're aware of in terms of your skill, in terms of and then there's also other blind spots that you may not be aware about, right? My point is, you talk about how you've come out of these challenges from Rwanda and this really tough time. You're now in the US. We talked about how you're building this luck, right? Because it's in your hands. Do you think coming from that kind of a background as well can also create some sort of blind spots or challenges that you are aware or not aware of because it's just built into who you are as a person?
100%. 100%. I think it does. I try to I cannot talk about this one. I try to put these things in compartments in my head, right? Like problems back home are always going to be there. Challenges are always going to be there. Me being the first person in my bloodline to ever leave the country is now going to come back again, right? So like it's a matter of like prioritizing and having mentors, having friends who can like tell you when you have those blind spots. So I told you like I had to co-found with someone who I knew can keep me honest, who I knew can give me feedback. And like literally like the first time we sat down to talk about this business, I was like, hey, I tend to be in my head about risks. Because again, I lived a really tough life.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to think about everything that could go wrong, like including like there could be a war, like what are we gonna do about that? And so like sort of like surrounding yourselves with people who are different from you, or like who grew up like differently from you, because like you complement each other. Like me being very risk averse also helps her because she's not as risk averse as I am. So like finding people who can
Balance you.
sort of like have a mirror in front of you for you to see those blind spots that you cannot see yourself. Um, but also like really staying focused on like some of those opportunities that will not come back again, including again like me being able to be here and solve for this particular problem that I'm really passionate about.
Do you think you are applying the kind of lens that you had while growing up, which was single-minded, single-focused, and
Mm-hmm.
this is important, I'm gonna do this,
Mm-hmm.
in a kind of a as a strength now? Like
Mm-hmm.
we are cursed with the optionality here that we
Mm-hmm.
get.
Yeah.
Like is that the framework that you feel is now
Mm-hmm.
giving you strength to be able to focus on this one thing,
Mm-hmm.
despite
Everything else,
yeah,
everything else that I could be doing. Yeah, so there is that. But there is also like the optionality trap. I've also, that's why I told you, like, hey, like I have this internship lined up, the same place I interned.
it's real.
Yeah.
I'm also working on this venture. Optionality like creeps in 100%. It does. What helps me is like the resources we have access to here at HBS. Yes, we are going to have access to them post graduation.
Mm.
I don't think we're going to be in this proximity.
Mm.
So like what helps me like stay focused on like trying to actually like make this happen is like knowing that the time we have here is now limited. And trying to like use it like to my best capacity before I leave. I don't think it's the same as like when I was young and like was like more from a survival perspective.
Yeah.
Because like right now, even if I return to Rwanda to work for like a Rwandan company, I think I'll be okay and I'll be content.
Yeah.
Um, I think right now it's more of like what like is there gonna be another time for me to give back
Yeah.
to my people? Like is there be the right time for me to build something that little Emily could have benefited from?
Yeah.
And so like there's that
Yeah.
pressure to do something now. There's the optionality as well of like I could be doing something bigger, maybe for
Yeah.
the entire continent or like even like here at HBS. But I try to remain focused on like right now we don't have enough time at HBS and I need to use the opportunity before we leave.
You talked about your mom quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit in like so far,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like she's a really big pillar in your life. Yeah,
Really.
shout out to her. I mean, our parents are, you know, they've
Yeah.
been very supportive for people that are trying to venture out of the country.
Thank you for writing that application for her.
Thanks, mom.
And you brought up your sister briefly.
Yes.
Who's in your family? It's your mom, your sister, and you.
So we are 5 siblings now.
5 siblings.
Yeah.
Wow.
So growing up, we were only two for the longest time, and then like we had three younger ones join. My dad is also back in the picture. Miracles do happen.
Wow.
So my dad, my mom, my elder sister, then me, and then three younger siblings.
Who are you closest to?
My sister,
Your sister.
yes.
Yeah.
But I'm close. In case they listen, I'm close to everyone.
You can't go back. You're upset. Cut off your optionality.
I'll say I'm closest to my sister because we're so close in age. She's just
I
like
see.
1 year and a half older.
Older than
Ah,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
Like everyone who comes after me, there is a 10-year gap.
Mm.
Yeah.
Tell us more about your sister. What kind of role does she play?
Oh, she plays an
In your
important
life?
role. So she's like the first person to attempt all of these things. Like I had a draft before like I dreamt of the high school I went to, she was already there. So my mom had applied for the same high school for her. She had gotten in. Her technique of choosing the school had worked. So like it was like copy and paste when it was my turn. She had a dream to come to America first, but it didn't work out for her. So it was like, let me go and do this, not just for me, but for her. Um, she did end up building a really amazing career back in Rwanda. She currently works for an international organization focused on, I'm gonna push this, but sexual reproductive health in Africa, or like
Wow.
public health. She studied pharmacy and then she entered, like she got into law. She's amazing. But more importantly, she's like very positive. She has like a very positive outlook
Mm.
about life.
Mm.
She gets excited by the smallest of the things. I can text her around now and be like, hey, I'm talking about you in a podcast, and she'll cry.
Mhm.
She's just like a very positive person. So growing up around her, she's like kept me like the dreaming part that we've spoken about. Like she's the one who dreamt of like a lot of these things first, and I just came in and executed, knowing that she's tried. So she's kept me like focused on like the path ahead, but like she's also like really sprinkled a lot of positivity in my life. Even like when I'm struggling with like classes, I
Yeah.
talk to her and like she has something positive to say, or I tell her about like something that has happened. She starts crying out of happiness, and just like reminds me of like life is too short. Like I shouldn't be stressed all the time.
Brilliant.
Wow. It's nice to grow up in, like your elder siblings.
Mhm.
Sometimes we call
Shoes.
it
Yeah.
shadow,
Yeah.
Right.
but it's also like it kind of protects you, but also kind of helps you, I think, groom well to kind of like dream. And because you've seen your elder sibling,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
She said the template. Like she was like the
So-
template. And I just really copied and pasted.
I'm sure she's very proud of you.
She's
And
super
where I've
proud.
reached today, you're proud of her as well. It
Yeah.
seems like
She's gonna cry. Like when she gets something, she's gonna cry. Yeah.
grab some tissues.
I wanted to ask something about, so
Mhm.
just going back to your, I think, your aspiration and like what you are trying to build. And it was, I think, very inspiring that you are thinking about like really single-mindedly doing this to kind of drive impact in Rwanda. And many of us kind of face that dilemma of, and who kind of are also trying to do something impactful. I think there's this dilemma between impact and wealth, because especially people who are coming from not that well resourced backgrounds also have that pressure, additional pressure to kind of build wealth as well. And then comes that question of do it now versus do it later.
Yes.
um how have you and this is for like for the community as well, like who's listening and also facing similar question. I'm also facing similar question for myself as well, like how have you thought about it? Like you definitely you really want to do it now, but because I think probably for you impact comes much higher. But then, like how have you thought about it? About especially like wealth, that
So wealth building.
intersection.
It's a tough question, like because like there's so much I can do with more money. For me, for my family, for
Especially
everyone.
for the family.
Yeah, there's so much that I can do. But at the same time, I feel like so I was in the social impact space before. So I haven't like really tasted that the money that everyone has tasted yet for me to be like, oh my gosh, I need to go. But like I don't have like
The golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
So that helped because I was working for a nonprofit organization before coming to HBS. I was living a wonderful life, like wonderful life. I have no notes to give to God for that life that I was
Wait,
living.
you were a Goldsmith fellow, right?
Yes.
Oh, we both were. Correct. I was also in a non-profit before. That's why it's like, yeah.
Yeah. So like my life was wonderful. And so because I've lived that without like being paid like crazy,
Yeah.
crazy, I know life can be beautiful without like making I'm not like saying that money is bad. Like I think it's
No,
wonderful.
yeah, of course.
I'm just like saying that there is an alternative life that also exists. So that helps because I've seen that you can live well
Yeah,
while doing impactful work.
yeah.
I also think with this idea that I'm working on, there's an opportunity for me to also build wealth. So when I entered the NVC competition, I didn't register it as a nonprofit. I registered it as a for-profit. And that's why like I'm struggling with this like who pays
Yeah.
problem, because I think Africa right now faces a talent issue. Someone has to pay for it. I don't know if it's going to be donors. I don't know if it's going to be philanthropic organizations,
Or the company that you're.
governments,
Yeah.
companies. Like there's a talent issue. Someone has to pay for it. I just want a small piece of
The pie.
while I create opportunities for my people. But I think there is like also going to be my dream or my hope is that there's going to also be wealth creation via that pursuit as well.
We all hope so. And I think it's generally a a very good, I think,
Mhm.
cause of which that you are thinking.
Well, it's a true issue too. I mean, even in Kenya, I think it's one of the biggest challenges that you look at when you're starting a business is how are you going to get people to pay? Everyone wants to, like here in the US, it's very clear. Everyone just pushes the cost to the consumer.
Mhm.
But in African countries where the consumer is not the right choice, because like there's a challenge of
Mhm.
actually being able to afford these services. It's not that simple anymore. That entire like equation of how you just put everything downstream cannot
Mhm.
work. And
Yeah.
upstream will not want to absorb the cost because
Yeah.
Yeah.
they lose their profits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Someone has to pay
legitimate.
though, because I think right now with the whole conversation around like, oh, let's bring investments to Africa. If there is no talent, no one is going to want to invest in Africa.
No,
And so I think either governments or like I don't know, like the UN, like someone has like to fix that program,
yeah,
and that it's going to require capital. So I think again, very delusional of me to say, but shouldn't be a surprise at this point. But definitely someone has to pay.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the Rwanda you hope to see?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when 5 or 10 years down the line, you have created impact, or not just from your lens, but
Mm-hmm.
as an economy that's developing, right? I
Mm-hmm.
also have hopes and dreams for Kenya as a country, as my home place. But what's the Rwanda that you envision?
Mm, that's a really good question. Um, I really dream of a Rwanda where um like there is money, like people actually have like we have a middle class where like you don't have to be like the top person like to be living a good quality life. Um, I believe in Rwanda where like the because like Rwanda has like really done a lot of like amazing stuff in terms of like investments they have done in the education system, blah blah blah. So I would hope to see those translate into like real outcomes,
Mm.
like good jobs, good businesses, um, like good opportunities. Like you don't have to come to America to become someone. You know what I mean? Um, and right now, like we have like similar to most African countries, like young people. Like I think like maybe the majority of the population is like
It's young.
yeah young, so people who are like motivated to start their own businesses without like worrying about like where they're going to get investment, like regulatory like challenges that I think we all face in African countries. But like where like being able to do something that can bring you like economic like transformation is not like something that you have to go study abroad for. Like you can do it in the country and you can prosper without like having to leave Rwanda. I think that would be my vision.
That's
Um,
brilliant. That's amazing. I'm really hopeful to see that.
yeah, hopefully.
Really want to see.
And speaking of the young people, and you spoke about also about like owning your own luck. That you that's kind of your principle. Like, what kind of agency that you feel that the young people should kind of own in terms of building this kind of a uh, dream Rwanda that you have.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of so I have now three younger siblings, and I think I don't know if it's a Gen Z issue. I hope there's no Gen Z, but I feel like people are just like a bit like more complacent than we used to be when we were young. Maybe it's like technology where like they're also like stuck with all of the options that exist and they can't like make up their minds. Um, so I hope that they can like be able to sort because they have a lot of information coming to them. Like I hope they can sort out what's good information versus bad information and like understand that you build a lot of liquidity when you're young, like be it career liquidity, social liquidity. You
Hmm.
can like really kill your brand as a kid, right? Like you think you're cool, like you're smoking with the cool kids in whatever, like your university, but that's going to like close so many doors down.
Hmm.
I promise I'm also like a really cool person. But it took me being very serious when I was young
Yeah.
to the point where when to the point like now people can like recommend me from like just like remembering me from high school.
Mm.
When I made a promise, I delivered. When I said I was gonna do something, I really made sure that it was like really good quality even as a kid. And I think like right now, anyone who remembers me, they're like, oh, Emily is that person. I can recommend her for a job. So like really being in that mindset of like, let me build, because I could think about liquidity from like a money perspective.
Wow.
But like, can I build career liquidity? Can I build social liquidity? Can I not close so many doors before I've even arrived?
Yeah.
Because I think like most of, like right now people are closing so many doors without even like realizing.
Yeah.
And then like you get to a certain age, you can't get a job. You
Yeah.
can't even get a girlfriend. You can't, because you've like just ruined your personal brand.
Yeah.
So I would hope that they have agency around
Yeah.
like building
Their own
a
brand.
brand that can help them like access so many doors when they're grown.
That is so, I think, in a very, I think, different way, but also in a very similar way. I think here at HBS as well, many of the people who are also thinking of starting up now or later, I think we all do discuss about the brand, like the personal brand that we need to start building. I think Kevin O'Leary was speaking about this in one of the founders mindset classes, that how it's so important for you all, for all of us, to start building a brand now, because even if we want to start something in the future, it is our peers, it is like the brand that we have built that's gonna kind of liquidate in the future. And it is at then the network and the resources that's gonna support that journey of entrepreneurship later as well. So in a very similar way, but like different ingredients, but I think similar concept, that brand, building a brand is
Very important.
very important. That's pretty cool. So we heard about your future of Rwanda.
Yes.
I want to hear about, now we coming towards the end of the
Okay.
podcast. So it's like the question that we have asked every protagonist.
Yeah.
It's about your future. So the podcast is unwritten case.
Yes.
10 years down the line,
Yeah.
how do you see your case framed?
Oh my God. Yeah, I should have prepared for this. I think I want my case to be not just about the impact, right? Like I really want it to be a very like successful in the business terms as well. Like because I really want people at HBS and like other business schools to understand that you can do good and do well. So I would hope that I've become very successful while really creating opportunities or democratizing Black for a lot of people, especially back home. I'm really passionate about the continent. So I see myself building something just for the continent, specifically in this like human capital space. So it would be like maybe like, I don't know, a lead case or like a case around like someone who revolutionized the talent market in Africa.
Yeah.
I've created jobs. I'm now dreaming as we speak. Like I hope I've created like really meaningful jobs for people. Um, I've allowed or sort of like given like rosy glasses to people to allow them to dream. Um, and I've provided them with like the tools and the skills they need to realize their dreams. So it'll be like part impact, part like, oh, this is how she used like the accounting method to
Wow.
to make this whole thing like more financially viable. Um, and I hope the impact is felt at the continental level, not just at the country level. So that would be my dream. Hopefully, if a case is ever written about me.
That's beautiful.
That's a round I would jump to immediately. Go
Well,
there.
one thing for sure, this is definitely gonna be a social entrepreneurship systems change.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's literally wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here.
Yeah. I think I just want to remind everyone, like today something popped up in my mind just mid podcast that there are 900 people in our batch. Me and Sankalp have just started this journey. This is our 7th episode now. And we're going to try our best to grab as many stories and put them out here. But the intention of this podcast is, just focusing on people's stories. We don't get that time, in our hustle and bustle to sit down with someone and just listen to them. And, just take that moment. You're listening to our podcast or episodes. Maybe also translate that to your day to day, go sit with someone, get a coffee with them, and ask them, what's their backstory, what's their origin, and who knows what you'll uncover, maybe about them, maybe about yourself. Signing off.